They thought she was a gift from the gods, beautiful, soft-spoken, and untouched by village corruption. Men fought to win her, women wanted to be her, and elders blessed her path. But on her wedding night, when her husband's scream pierced the darkness, what crawled out of her silenced the entire village forever. Because Nkem was never one of them. The girl from nowhere. Nobody knew exactly where she came from. One rainy morning, she appeared at the edge of Umuduru village, barefoot, soaked, and shivering. She couldn't have been more than 16. An old hunter, Pa Ugo Chukwu, found her curled under a mango tree, mumbling something about being chased by spirits of the hill. At first, the villagers were suspicious. Who leaves a child alone in a forest? But her beauty was disarming. Soft brown skin, almond eyes that looked both shy and wise, and a calmness that felt sacred. Even Mama Ifunanya, who was known to distrust her own shadow, said, "This one carries water that can quench dry lands." And so, she was named Nkem, mine, because the villagers agreed she belonged to them all. Mama Nwoke, the herbalist with no children of her own, took her in, and for years, Nkem grew into the kind of woman poets wrote songs about. She didn't gossip, she didn't laugh too loudly, she cooked like an angel, sang like the wind, and moved like river water. But no one asked deeper questions, not even when strange things began to happen. It started subtly. The year Nkem turned 18, several things happened that made people uneasy. A goat tied outside a compound would be found strangled as if by a rope that left no trace. One night, a palm wine tapper swore he saw a long, dark figure slithering past the banana grove with eyes like fire. A child fell ill after claiming he saw Auntie Nkem turn into a big snake in his dream. But they dismissed it. "Children dream nonsense," the elders said. "Snakes don't walk like women. Nkem is pure." The villagers loved her too much to entertain doubt. Even when the village dogs barked incessantly at her doorstep at night, even when Mama Nwoke's compound began to reek of something foul every full moon, even when the streams around Umuduru began to dry up, except the one closest to Nkem's favorite bathing spot. Instead, they looked elsewhere for blame, witches in other villages, the gods being angry, or the signs of the end times, not Nkem. When Chisholm, the son of the village chief, returned from the city, he laid eyes on Nkem and forgot every other woman he'd ever met. "I want her," he said. His father laughed. "You and every man in Umuduru." But Chisholm wasn't like the others. He was bold, educated, and well-traveled. His family had wealth and influence. Within a week, he proposed, and Nkem said yes. And the whole village celebrated like the heavens had opened. It was the wedding of the decade. Drummers, dancers, and masquerades filled the compound. Gifts poured in. Every girl envied Nkem, and every man who had once dreamed of her drank palm wine to swallow their disappointment. But the night was not for celebration. It was for revelation. It happened at midnight. Chisholm and Nkem entered their bridal hut, candles lit, scent of camwood in the air. The drumming had died down, and only the sounds of frogs and crickets filled the night. Then, a scream. A loud, desperate, soul-shattering scream that split the night in two. The chief, elders, and warriors stormed toward the hut. What they saw would live in infamy. Chisholm, naked and trembling, sat in a corner, bleeding from his arm, his eyes wide with terror, his mouth mumbling, she's not human." Nkem was gone, but the window was shattered, and outside, slithering through the grass, was a massive black mamba, larger than any serpent ever known in the region. Its eyes gleamed like polished coal, and on its head was Ankem's wedding veil. The village turned upside down. Chisholm was taken to the shrine for cleansing. The elders summoned the Dibia, the spiritual seer who hadn't been seen in years. The Dibia came with white chalk, cowrie shells, and red cloth. After 3 hours of divination, he spoke. She is Ogbanje, not born of flesh, but spirit, sent to dwell among men. But your love and attention made her forget her mission. The wedding awakened it. What mission? The chief asked. The Dibia's eyes turned dark. She came to taste the blood of a worthy man. Your son was the sacrifice. Suddenly, everything made sense. Mamanwoke remembered how the compound once shook when Kem was angry. Women recalled finding dry snakeskins behind their huts after Nkem visited. The hunter who found her, Pa Ugochukwu, died mysteriously a week later. No one had connected the dots. Even Chisholm, trembling in the shrine, confessed, "She told me, just before she changed, you will be the first man I ever taste." I thought she meant it romantically. The village was thrown into mourning and fear. Nkem was never found. Some say she lives in the hills beyond the stream. Others claim she appears in the dreams of young men who lust too strongly. Chisholm left the village shortly after, changed forever. He never married again. Mamanwoke grew sick and died 6 months later. Some say of heartbreak, others say of spiritual backlash. The Dibia warned that Nkem was not the only one of her kind, that more would come in different forms, through charm, beauty, wealth, or ambition. Look beyond what glitters, he warned. Sometimes, even snakes wear wedding veils. Years passed. People moved on. A new girl arrived in the village, pretty, quiet, and very fond of the same stream. They named her Ola, wealth. And again, the cycle began. Moral lessons and themes. 1. Discernment over appearance. Not everything beautiful is harmless. 2. Spiritual realities. African life holds deep spiritual truths we often ignore in pursuit of comfort or pleasure. 3. The danger of ignorance. Communities must not idolize individuals without wisdom. 4. The forgotten ancestors' warnings. Traditions are not just superstitions. They carry coded warnings. 5. Desire blinds. Both men and women can be lured by charm that hides evil.